Mālama Honua on the educational level sees it as an interdisciplinary learning activity. I mean, the kids can draw in social studies and science and mathematics and geography, and they're writing about it, and I think that it lends itself to that type of learning where kids are able to use it as a focal point for making connections in their learning.
Mālama Honua is very important to me because it helps keep our culture active, pretty much, and it can teach our kids or adults about it.
Honoring culture and tradition and just the whole respect factor. I feel like sometimes that's lost, but within the whole Mālama Honua message, it's an all-encompassing message in which the kids can always be taken back to where they're from, the beauty of the place that they hold dear to them, and how that is not infinite, it's finite, the resources that we have.
To me, it means like saving the places where you live, making sure that it's clean, healthy, for the future's sake, that it connects to everybody, like our culture, the land, its people, to everything, pretty much.
Not only is Mālama Honua an incredible event, but it's also a way of making real-life connections to material that kids might not see as relevant to their lives.
I think that's where we come in, because we can expose them to materials that they otherwise wouldn't have been able to seek out, or maybe they would have been ignorant to the fact that it even exists, a problem like the dirtiest river in Indonesia and or the sinking island of Teku out in Micronesia that is being inundated with high tides because of global warming. And so when they watch this, they're actually watching a video about someplace else in the world, but all they're doing is making connections about how this video can be their reality here where they live. And that's where I feel like some of my students are really being impacted in a positive way with this message.
Philosophy for Children is an approach to teaching that is based on 4 pillars. And that first pillar is community. And this is when we talk about intellectual safety, and students feel comfortable asking any question or stating any idea so long as respect for all peers is honored. The second pillar is inquiry. And this is really based on students asking meaningful questions. Not the questions that are found at the end of a textbook, but questions that really mean something to them, questions they want to know the answers to. The third pillar is philosophy with a little p, not a big P academic philosophy, but philosophy with a little p, which is where we're bringing wonderment into the classroom. We're trying to get kids involved and engaged and really activate that sense of wonder. The fourth pillar is reflection, where students are having the opportunity to take control of their learning and reflect on how well they've done and what they've learned.
It dawned on me that what's really important as a teacher are relationships. And if you just think about that when you're trying to incorporate p4c into your classroom, that it's just about creating a place that people are kind, people have respect, people don't need to be fearful, people don't feel like they're going to be judged, which is commonplace amongst an intermediate community outside the classroom. They're not the nicest people to each other. We operate in a capitalistic society where it's all me, 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 me. In a p4c society, it's more like the community before me. And that's a different concept for them to kind of pick up, but it's a safe concept and they like it. So.
Like, you don't have to raise your hand most of the time, and you're free to talk. You don't have to be ashamed if somebody says, that's wrong, if you try to answer a problem in other classes. In this class, every answer or anything you say works. There's no right or wrong answer.
I was sad that we actually stopped p4c for a little while, but then when they brought it back, I was happy again. Maybe I feel like that because it actually brings out who we are, and that can help our teacher understand how or why we're learning this, and like teach us in a way they know how to teach us.
And we can learn and talk about anything in this p4c circle. It's very, very versatile, but you know, start slow, start with intellectual safety, because the kids want that. And if you bring intellectual safety into the classroom, they might not tell you, but they'll back you. They'll back you when you ask questions like, how many of you would rather present in front of an audience who's paying attention, who's quiet, with no sidebar conversations, and who, you feel is supporting you. They'll all raise their hand and say, we do.
Almost every single teacher that works with the philoSURFERS has nothing but amazing things to say because they're really, it's unique, and they're coming in, they're bringing so many new ideas to their classroom. It's allowing them to take risk as well. Some of these teachers have never really taught in this matter, becoming a co-inquirer and really giving all the students the power. And I think it becomes a little bit easier when you have some expert teenagers in your classroom that kind of are saying, yeah, this is exactly what it's supposed to be like.
Being a philoSURFER is wonderful. I get to speak to children where most people don't think that's something that they can comprehend, normal questions or things. Most people think that lower level students kind of have like, oh, why is this color of the sky this color today kind of questions, but they have very deep questions.
When we got into it, you'd think, oh, I'm gonna be the oldest kid in the class, so it's like I'm the teacher. But you come in with your teacher hat on and it's nothing, like you're the student. You're learning how it's like for a little kid to have the same ideas as your peers, and they're full of knowledge. Age is just a number.
What they're learning how to do is definitely going to impact the world that we live in, because they're developing these skills that will surely get passed on to their neighbors, to their children. And at least that's my hope, is that the ability to listen to things that are different than what we originally believe or different than my beliefs is going to open up avenues to our neighbors. And when I think of neighbors, it's not just the person living next door to us. I'm thinking in terms of like the worldwide voyage. It's opening us up to seeing things a little bit differently so we can continue to move forward together.